The county government of Nyeri aims at increasing the yields and income of agricultural products. Nyeri CEC Mr. Henry Kenywa says that in line with the Big Four agenda of the national government, county government of Nyeri has come up with 4 pillars of agriculture for the county. This includes increasing production and productivity, increasing quality and post-harvest loss, access to markets, and enhancing extension services. It is from these 4 pillars that the agriculture sector has derived 6 value chain crops in order to ensure that there is food security in Nyeri. These value chain crops include dairy value chain, coffee value chain, tea value chain, Irish potatoes, horticulture, fisheries, and aquaculture. In order to ensure that there is food security in the county, Mr. Kenywa highlighted some of the major ongoing projects that his department has taken up.
What the governor said and the mandate he gave me for agriculture was the 2 overarching objectives is food security and income for the people. So they say in Kikuyu at the Adombaho Neda na mekile besha monko. So people are they are such and they have money in their pockets. And when we did that, then we broke it down to 4 pillars that will underpin those 4 objectives. And pillar number 1 is increasing production and productivity. As I've said before, previously, in all the value chain we touch, we are low in the acreage and also low on yield. So we are looking at that's pillar number 1, focusing specifically to increase that. And I'll touch briefly on what exactly we are doing on that. The second pillar is enhancing extension services. Nyeri, like almost every other places in Kenya, we have serious challenges with extension services. In terms of our ratio of 1 extension work to farmers is 1 to 2,000 on crops. If you look at livestock and vet, 1 is 4,000. So it's almost impossible. So one thing we are very clear is our farmers have not been receiving the extension service that they should be receiving, and therefore our focus is threefold. 1 is ensuring that the team, we enhance the teams, increase the numbers. We will at some point, and also particularly replacing those who are retiring, but also increasing the numbers. And what we did in the previous budget, in the supplementary budget we focus more on ensuring that the current staff are motivated, they are promoted. They had stagnated in the job group for last 5-10 years. So there was an interview, all of them, and everybody who was, they were able to move from one group to the other based on their qualifications, and that did increase their morale. The second area now is also to look at ensuring that they are well facilitated. They have vehicles, they have motorcycles, and they have these tools, these vehicles are filled so that they can be able to be in the field where the farmers need them, or based on how they plan. And that one is, the last couple of months, I think in February, the governor was able to flag off the first fleet. There were 5 vehicles and about 14 motorcycles. So they are really improving. We still have a long way to go, but I think that's really a tremendous improvement. Clearly, we will not be everywhere. Doesn't mean that others will not be touched. They are not, but these are the ones we're giving the first priority for now. The 6 of them are dairy, and dairy is an important value chain for many reasons. One is one value chain that captures every corner of this county. Every farmer in Nyeri either has a cow or can potentially keep a cow. So therefore, milk is a unifying product, is a unifying commodity value chain that they have. And dealing with it provides opportunities for many other areas. We look at the issue of fodder production. So there's areas in the county that will be able to either grow fodder, produce silage and other fodder materials, and then their farmers now then provide, make sure their animals. There's a lot of all that in terms. I mentioned a little bit of that in terms of what you're doing on that value chain. The second value chain is coffee. Coffee is grown by about 100,000 households. That's like half of all the households, in the agricultural households in Nyeri. So if you say 100,000 households, that's give and take about 300,000 people directly, growing coffee. So that's really very important. That's over 50% of more the people, the people in Nyeri County. So that's really another very important value chain that leads into its focus and its potential in terms of the export potential. The potential is in income generation for the farmers is great, and it's already there. So really, we're focusing on it as that. The third, not like the order of priority, but the third is tea. Again, for the same reason, we have about 60,000 households who produce tea in the county. That's another, 200,000 odd households, individuals that really directly, living from tea. So that's really another quite important opportunity, value chain. The fourth one is potatoes. The round potato, the white potatoes, or the Irish potatoes, the waru, the real, that is, that is a very big master. It's actually on food, on staples. It's like our second, even more than maize. So you have maize, and so it's really a key staple, in this county, and therefore we are focusing on it. Is produced in various areas, and also we have opportunities to not only produce for consumption but also for export. It's already an export. It's already a cash crop for various people from, particularly in the Kearneys and the Mount Kenya, the Kabaru area, or Mweshwiri and all that, and the other side of Endarasha, Kiambogo, and those are the areas, and therefore it's quite important for this county. And then that was fourth. Then fifth is horticulture, and this horticulture is vegetables and fruits, and there are many. This one, the priority is per the sub-county or per the ward. The idea is that we are pushing more. This of the Russia side, you're looking at onions. There is looking at cabbages. The idea that based on what can be grown at different places. Avocado is one of the key really priority for the government, pushing on, providing support for the farmers, subsidizing seedlings, and that we did last in the subtip, and then the current budget we actually already factored in that, in establishing a nursery for the county that in produce enough seedlings for our people for subsidy, but also we can sell to other counties, and also providing resources to ensure that we are able to procure other seedlings for our farmers. So that really enhances, and it's two ways. It's basically like it's an income for the farmers, more of a diversification, because coffee farmers they may have area that you do avocado, and there's a saying that you always have a space to plant a tree, and look at avocado as a tree. So you don't necessarily need to have, if you can have an orchard, it's okay, but you don't need to have an orchard. You can different places where you can plant avocado. So that's really one of the commodities we are focusing and pushing very hard on. The final one is aquaculture. This is fisheries and aquaculture. Fisheries, so this is more, we are focusing on the various species of fish that we have competitive advantage as producing. Number one is like trout. Trout in Nyeri is, I think, the county, if not the only county that have the opportunity to produce massive amounts of trout, because we have the cold waters from the Mount Kenya and also from the Aberdares. So that really provides an opportunity to produce that product for not necessarily for our own concern, but also for export.
Aside from the plans that the agricultural docket of Nyeri has for farmers, the coffee industry will still be rooted as a cash crop in the county. Othaya Farmers Cooperative Society Limited in Othaya Town, Nyeri County, is sandwiched between Mount Kenya and the Aberdare ranges. This is where the world-famous Arabica coffee is grown. The society was registered in 1956 as a coffee marketing society with an initial membership of 250 farmers. Currently, the society has 19 factories for both dry and wet milling services and serves over 15,000 small-scale coffee farmers. The dry mill has a capacity of producing 10,000 packets of 250 grams of coffee each. Othaya Coffee Farmers Manager Mr. David Wairago lets us in on day-to-day activities of the coffee factory.
Where we are is a Othaya Coffee Mill. It's a mill that is owned by our farmers of Othaya. It was started in 2010. That's when it started its operations. So it has been in operation since then. And basically, what we do here is mill coffee, and make it ready for export. And the coffee that we mill This is normally the parchment form. You see, in Othaya, we do have 19 wet mills that for process of coffee. When the farmers pick their berries from their farms, they take it to the wet mills where the red stuff is removed, and then we get the beans that are inside. They are normally whitish in color. Then the beans are fermented and dried, and after the coffee is dry, that's when it's brought to the mill here. The mill, the work of the mill is to remove the husks, the white covering, and then we get the beans that are inside. And then basically these are the ones that are graded, and then graded according to the size, shape, and density of the beans. And then we come up with about 7 coffee grades, and then that coffee is normally exported in that form. Our milling unit here, or milling machine, has a capacity of milling about 2 tons per hour of parchment. And say in a day, it's possible for us to mill about 150 bags. But when we have a night shift, because that one is longer, we can mill even 200 bags. Othaya coffee mill, originally it was started by Othaya Farmers Cooperative Society for specifically milling their own coffee. So it was a private coffee mill. Although later on, a few years back, we were licensed to mill for other people, for other societies. So mostly, the coffee that we mill here is from Othaya sub-county. And Othaya coffee mill, or say Othaya society, has about 19 wet mills. When the farmers bring their coffee here, they normally take their red cherries. Once they pick the red cherries from the farms, they take it to their local wet mill, where it is processed into parchment form. And those wet mills are distributed evenly in the whole sub-county, such that the farmers do not have maybe to hire a vehicle to take his cherries to the wet mill. They are built in a way that it will be a walking distance from the farm to the wet mill. Those wet mills prepare those red cherries into what we call a parchment, and then after that coffee is ready, that's when it is brought to the dry mill here. Otherwise, we have those 19 wet mills and being served by only one dry mill.
Othaya Coffee Factory has a coffee lab where grading is carried out. Here, Mr. David explains more about the coffee grades and demonstrates how they are able to test the quality of coffee to fetch the best prices in the market.
Here we are at our coffee lab. It's a place where we test the quality of the coffees. Otherwise, here we have an example of, or samples of the coffees that we get from the mill. We do have a parchment number 1 here, which is the product that we get from the wet mills. It's the one that we put at the dry mill there. The husks are removed, and after the coffee has been passed through this set of screens that are normally in the grader, that's when we come up with all of these grades. Some of the grades are graded according to the size of the beans, say like AA, AB, E grade, C, and T grade. There's also a grade that is graded according to the shape of the bean, which is called the PB. These beans are normally vertical, or they don't have a flat surface like these others. And also we have the TT grade. TT grade is the grade that we get after passing AA and AB, do the gravity separator. So the lighter beans from AA and AB. So these ones are the grades. Normally AA is the best in quality, and also when it comes to selling, is the one that fetches the highest amount of money. And we have the T grade, which is the lowest or the smallest in size, and also when it gets to the market, the one that fetches a bit little money. Coffee is used as a coffee normally for drinking, and so in roasting is some kind of making it ready for use. Otherwise, after the coffee has been roasted, that's when the aroma can come out. If it's somebody checks the green beans and you try to smell them, there's nothing that will come out. But after the coffee has been roasted at normal ground, that's when the good taste will come out.
Mr. Wairago demonstrates how to grind coffee and explains the importance of grinding of the roasted coffee beans. He further explains that grinding coffee does not lower the quality of coffee, neither does it affect the grade. What is evident is the size of coffee beans reduces, thus making it soluble to be brewed.
It's possible to grind for fine some coffee that is very fine and some others coarse. You see, our grinder here has a gauge that somebody can adjust. In case you want a very fine one, you just grind it. In case you want some coarse like this one, you just grind like that one. So it's possible to adjust the grinding machine. After preparing the samples, say we've written a report on the raw beans, a report on the roasted beans. Then we grind the 14 grams, put them in these cups, and then we do add some hot water. Like this. Yeah, the hot water and the coffee. After putting the hot water there, it is possible for us to have some coffee that we can taste. We normally taste the coffee, and in tasting, we check the acidity, the body, and the flavors that are in the cup. And this is how it is. Somebody can either solo or you can put it here. Say when we are tasting very many cups, it's not possible to be swallowing every other cup. So it will be necessary to spread it here. The tasting of the coffee should be done by a professional. Somebody who's been trained on it. So by that training, somebody will have known how to identify the different tastes that are in those different cups.
Since Othaya Farmers Cooperative Society started coffee milling, they have reaped many benefits from sale of the grinded coffee. Farmers who own the coffee mill have been able to expand in the markets, especially in the private sector, where they have been able to acquire good revenues from the milling process.
Benefits have been quite many, because you see there before we had the coffee mill. Our parchment coffees was being taken to private millers where they would mill the coffee. And in milling we mean removing the husks and also grading the coffees into different grades that are ready for export. And those private mills are not giving us good deals.
Like that.
Othaya Farmers Cooperative Society Limited has embarked on a valued addition to their coffee by roasting and grinding.
Putting the hot water there.
The aim of the value addition is selling a finished product to the domestic market so as to further enhance a coffee drinking culture locally. To achieve this, the coffee is packed in 100 grams and 250 grams packet and distributed to the local market.
A value addition unit where we roast some coffee and do packaging. The one that we sell to say to even some big hotels like White Rhino, and also we can sell to some other customers. We've been looking forward to getting some customers that can import it, or one that we can export to abroad, but as of now we're not made to get one, but we are ready for that.
This is the value addition department whereby I do the roasting and the packaging. This is the commercial roaster whereby it uses a control panel. It is computerized. Yeah, I normally roast a capacity of 20 kgs. That is the maximum what I normally roast in one batch. This is my roaster drum. After it reaches to a certain temperature, that's when I start my roasting. Most of the time I start roasting at 180 degrees centigrade. After roasting, I do the coffee cools down. Here is the mixer, and down here there is a cooler. After now doing my roasting, I do grading. This is my commercial grader. This is now my beans, my roasted beans. Yeah. Then after that, I do the gliding, whereby I do the medium glide. I have some packaging materials. This is what I normally pack to 50 grams. Okay, for this to work, it must be hot. It has created employment like I have gotten the job through this value addition. And yet the society is getting profit out of the value addition because we are selling our coffee and yet we are packaging other private customers. We are doing for them the packaging and the roasting.
Currently, the Othaya coffee is sold locally at an affordable price to the consumer. Therefore, consumers are encouraged to support the coffee farmers by promoting our own brewed and baked coffee to improve the coffee production. With the coffee farming taking rise in Nyeri County, the county government has been able to provide farmers with fertilizers and lime at subsidized prices. The farmers also enjoy support through subsidies of farm inputs such as farm machinery, planting materials, provision of irrigation sources and training.
One area that we can look at in Nyeri is the soils, even particularly the production of productivity. Our soils are very poor. Nyeri, we've had various studies that shows our soils are highly acidic, except maybe with areas in Kenya which now, like, okay, they've not been farmed. And there are many reasons. Our soils have been farmed for a long time. Areas like Mukurweni, even today's the folklore goes that the Gikuyu and Mumbi, the originator of Kikuyu, the Gikuyu people, lived in Mukuru, Wanyagadanga, around Mukurweni and all. So that area has been farmed for all those years. Since the Kikuyu people came here, the colonialists came and started. So our soils are very tired. So what we are focusing on, and in fact, and it's already factored in this budget, is to ensure that, number one, we are able to map out our soil. We do a soil fertility map that per sub-count, that you be able to say, if you're in Mukurweni, your soil are like this, and then if you want to grow this, commodity, they have a corresponding recommendation map. That's if you're growing coffee, these are the kind of fertilizers you need, and we want to utilize this to partner with the private sector and say, if you are an agronomist advisor, or if you are a stockist and you want to do business in Kenya, these are the kind of fertilizers you need to be stocking.
All this is aimed at increasing the production of quality foodstuff for markets, domestic use, and animal feeds. Stay tuned to our next episodes as we have more for you about agriculture in Nyeri County.